Once upon a time, in a small town in Umuagu, there lived a widow, Chiamaka, and her only daughter, Ezine. Ezine was a beautiful girl and was a good sight to behold. But Ezine was the exact opposite of her mother. She was lazy, proud, and she never listens to her mother, Chiamaka. Most times, her mother, Chiamaka, wondered if she was truly her daughter. She would even ask Ezine, "Are you sure you are my daughter? Because I don't understand." Ezine's only response would be, "Mama, please, I have told you, not everyone would be like you. Not everyone has the strength to walk like you. Beside, Mama, check me out now. Haven't you seen your daughter, Ezine? I am beautiful and shouldn't be made to do all manner of work now. Don't worry, Mama. Someday, I will marry a very rich man that will provide me with all that I ever wanted in life." Ezine would respond to her mother, Ezine, someday you would remember my words, and I hope it won't be too late then." Her mother, Chiamaka, would often say Chiamaka tried her best to raise her child, Ezine, but Ezine was such a stubborn child that had chosen her own path. On several occasions, Chiamaka, her mother, had asked her to go learn a skill because obviously Ezine didn't even have the brain for books. On several occasions, she had repeated her class both while she was in primary school and in secondary school. She only managed to graduate from high school with 3 credits, and the rest subjects Ezine failed woefully. But if she had to go to the university, she would have to retake the examination, and Ezine wasn't even willing to do that, and her mother, Chiamaka, encouraged her to at least learn a skill so that she would be able to do something meaningful with her life. "Mother, I am thinking of the best trade I am going to learn, the best skill that will fetch me a lot of money. See, tailoring is for jobless people, and hairdressing is for the poor because you get to work so hard and you are paid very little." Ezine would say to her mother. Chiamaka would sulk, shout, and quarrel just so that Ezine would be on the right path, but all to no avail. Ezine had even embarrassed all the men that came to her for her hand in marriage. She would insult them, telling them they are not up to her standard and that she deserves more than what they were offering her. "Are you blind? Can't you see that I am out of your class? How dare you embarrass me by coming to ask for my hand in marriage?" These words are exact words she had said to one of her numerous suitors. "But Ezine, I am working and I promise to take care of you," Chike said to her. "Chike, I have heard you. Have you finished taking care of yourself? You want to take care of me? Oh, I see. You want to turn me to a manager. Okwaya, you want to marry me and turn me into somebody that will be managing pepper and salt with you. Chike, I am here for the good life. So when you eventually get better with your life, you can then, and only then, can you come and ask for my hand in marriage. But until then, I don't want to see you anywhere close to me." Ezine fired at Chike. After several back and forth with her mother, Chiamaka, Ezine decided to go learn baking. For her, she thought baking was the easiest of all the options she had. She had registered with Madam Ngozi to learn baking. Madam Ngozi was the best baker in the whole of Umuagu. She had taught a lot of young ladies how to bake, and Ezine saw her as the better option. However, Ezine would come to Madam Ngozi's shop whenever and however she likes. And on some days, she wouldn't even show up. And when she was asked why she missed work, she would grumble and give flimsy excuses. On one occasion, Ezine was left alone in the shop. Her madam wasn't around, and her customer came to purchase one of her cake Ezine was so arrogant with the customer, which almost led to a fight. Customer got angry and decided not to patronize Ezine's boss. And so, when Madam Ngozi returned, she became furious and decided that she wasn't going to allow Ezine into her shop since she had decided to chase away her customers. So, because of that small thing that happened, you are asking me to leave your shop. Okay, I see. It is obvious that you have a problem with me. I have been observing the way you have been talking to me and looking at me ever since I came to this shop. See, let me tell you, I will leave this shop for you. I will leave this shop for you, oh, Ezine said to her boss. She picked her bag immediately and left the shop, never to return back to learning baking. When Ezine got home that day, she did not inform her mother of what had transpired between herself and her madam. But after one full week of Ezine not going to work, her mother Chiamaka was suspicious of something that must have happened. She had to do her own secret investigation by asking her madam, who told her what Ezine had done. Chiamaka was very disappointed at Ezine. Why would you fight with your boss? Why will you even fight and quarrel with your boss's customer? Is that the right thing to do? Is that how things are done? Ezine's mother queried her. Mother, please, you can't understand. That woman, she is a very wicked and jealous person. I have been sensing the way she behaves towards me since I stepped my foot into her shop. But I think I know better now, and I am not going back there anymore, Ezine said, already getting angry. Really, Ezine? Really, Ezine? Is this how you want to live your life? Chiamaka, her mother, said disappointedly. As the weeks went by, Ezine would stay at home doing nothing, and so her mother Chiamaka knew that if something was not done to stop Ezine's attitude, she would become worse. And so Chiamaka stopped giving Ezine food more than once a day. My daughter, you are old enough to take care of yourself. So if you want to eat anyhow and however you want, you must work. There is no food for a lazy man. Ezine's eyes narrowed. She knew her mother loved her so much, but she didn't know that her mother could go to the extent of not giving her food, the type that she have always wanted to eat at any time and however she wants it. But upon seeing her mother's seriousness, Ezine had to think of something to do, and so Ezine decided to learn tailoring. If not for anything, at least to leave the house far away from the gazing eyes of her mother. This time around, Ezine did not want a female boss because she felt they were too jealous, bossy, and arrogant. And so, Ezine went to Baba Tutu's shop to learn and register for tailoring. Baba Tutu was a tailor who deals on only male wears. He was the best male tailor in the whole of Umogu, and Ezine was happy at least a lot of men always came to Baba Tutu's shop to patronize him. They were mostly men who were well-to-do, and Ezine knew that would be the best place for her to become visible to rich suitors. Her intentions for learning from Baba Tutu's shop was not far-fetched. At first, Ezine managed to be polite at least to give a great impression of herself, and she did not want to come across as being rude. But as the months progressed, Ezine started having genuine interest in learning the tailoring. Ezine wanted to make clothes as good as Baba Tutu, but she needed more time and dedication to be able to achieve that. Her mother Chiamaka was very impressed with Ezine's progress. She never knew Ezine could be that serious with her life. She was at least grateful to God for the little changes she had seen in Ezine. One day, as Ezine was in Baba Tutu's shop cutting fabric, a car pulled over in front of the shop. The car was very beautiful and screamed luxury. She had never seen that type of car before. The owner alighted from the car and surprisingly came into Baba Tutu's shop. Ezine's eyes widened, already flabbergasted by the car she had just seen. Good afternoon, sir. Ezine managed to speak out. Oh, good afternoon, beautiful, the man said. At the mention of beautiful, Ezine's heart skipped. Sir, how can I help you? I want to see Baba Tutu. Is he around? The man said. He will be back in 2 hours, Ezine retorted. Okay, I just wanted to make an outfit for an occasion, the man said with a smiling face. Okay, sir. I will let him know when he returns, Ezine added. Can I get your contact? At least so I can give you a call to be sure when your boss returns. When the man asked for Ezine's number, Ezine's hands reached out for her pocket, forgetting she had no phone. She was too ashamed to say she didn't even own one. I don't have a phone, Ezine managed to say, with a low and shy tone. How can you? Fine girl like you do not have a phone? Anyway, I will be back. When the man left, Ezine was angry with herself. She wished that she had a phone. At least she would have had the contact of this rich man. And who knows, luck might shine on her, Ezine thought to herself. However, later that day, the man returned and met with Baba Tutu, and surprisingly, he brought a phone for Ezine and gave her the phone. Ezine could not believe it. Her smile widened as she thanked the man Okoro continuously. The man gave Ezine her contact, and so he would call Ezine to always check up on her. And after 2 weeks of Ezine and Okoro speaking, Okoro asked Ezine to be his wife and marry him. What? Marry you? Ezine felt as though she had won a lottery that is a gateway from poverty, lack and want. She had always wanted to marry a rich man, but now it was like a dream come true for her. Though Ezine barely knew Okoro, as they had just only met few weeks back, Ezine was more than willing to become his wife. Okoro lived in the next town away from Umogo, and Ezine knew that marrying Okoro would mean her stopping her tailoring apprenticeship. But what was the need for that anyways? Her husband-to-be was well-to-do, Ezine thought to herself. As the wedding day drew closer, rumors started flying around that Okoro was a very wicked man, that he was mean to all his workers, and that he had married 2 wives before, who he had chased away with his wickedness. And upon hearing that, Chiamaka, Ezine's mother, called Ezine, my daughter, are you sure you want to marry Okoro? Because the information I am getting about him is not good at all. I hear he is a very wicked man, Chiamaka said, already worried and concerned for her daughter. Mama, Ezine said, forget all of that. I don't care. As long as he has money to take care of me, I am okay. I would rather marry a wicked rich man than to marry a poor man. Ezine, as your mother, I will suggest we stop these marriage plans because there is more to marriage than money. Oh, mother, you have started again. Why will you even be believing what people are saying? See, these people, they are jealous of me. They don't want me to get married to a wealthy man. See, mother, let me even be the judge of that, whether he is a wicked man or not. As for me, he's taking care of me. He has not been wicked to me. So I don't know where all of this information are coming from. I am going to continue with my wedding plans with Okoro. Oh, mother, I see you are scared that I might come back to this house. Don't worry. Nothing will ever make me to come back to your house. So I have signed up for the soft life, and that must it be. Mother, it seems as though you had forgotten all he had done for us. For these past few weeks and months he had come into my life. What more can I ask for in a man? Ezine said, trying to convince her mother. But Her mother was not convinced. He was skeptical. She was scared of her daughter's decision. But her daughter wasn't ready to back down. Ezine meant business. On the day of the traditional marriage, Ezine was happy as everything needed was provided for. She said to herself, "Finally, my dreams is gradually coming true." Some guests in the ceremony started murmuring of how she was making a great mistake of her life. Ezine was having the best time of her life in her marriage because she had mates at her beck and call and she needed not to do anything in the house. But barely few months into the marriage, Okoro relieved all the maids of their duties and he told Ezine she would do all the house chores herself since she was his wife. "But you would have told me, my husband, before relieving them. That way we can decide together," Ezine said. "So I should take permission from you before making decision in my own house? You must be joking. I have made my decision and that is final." "No, that can never be final. We are husband and wife. We should take decisions together." Before Ezine could finish speaking, she got a very dirty slap. Ezine held her face in shock. She could not believe it. She did not expect it. She did not even know how to react about it. She cried her eyes out. "You slapped me? Why will you slap me?" "I will slap you again if you say anything further," Okoro added in range. As the days went by, Ezine became more of a maid in her own home. In fact, even some maids lived better than her, as Okoro, her husband, would abuse her emotionally, physically, mentally, and psychologically. She was like a puppet that would move when asked to. She didn't have a say in her own home. On one occasion, Ezine told her husband she was going to see her mother as she was sick. "If you leave this house, make sure you don't come back." "But my mother is sick and I need to see her." "Are you a doctor?" Okoro fired at her. "Beside, the day I married you, that day I bought you, so I own you, and now I determine what you should do and what you shouldn't. And I am saying now, woman, go inside. You are going nowhere." "I would send her money. After all, that's all you poor people care about." That day, Ezine cried her eyes out. She could not believe what was happening to her. Her husband, Okoro, was now a monster, tormenting her life. Okoro would beat Ezine up at any slightest provocation. Despite all that was happening to Ezine, she couldn't bring herself to tell anyone what was going on with her, as she thought to herself one day, "I can't tell anyone my predicament. After all, it was all my decision, so I would live with the consequences." The physical abuse got so bad that one could barely recognize Ezine. Ezine became a shadow of herself. One evening, when her husband came back from work, she went on her knees. "My husband," Ezine said, pleading, "if I have offended you in any way, I am sorry. And if there is anything I am doing that you don't like, please tell me. I promise you I would change and amend my ways so that there can be peace in our home." At the mention of that, Okoro flew into a rage. "What do you mean? Am I the one taking away your peace? Woman, get out of my sight, because I've had a very long day and I don't want you to add your miserable life to it." Okoro walked past her. Ezine was always in deep thoughts, as she didn't even know what having a happy marriage looked like. Life was in shambles. As the weeks went by, Okoro even progressed to start bringing different women into their own home, and sometimes Ezine was made to sleep in the visitor's room, and she was asked to cook food for the different and various women her husband brought into their home. not minding how she felt. So one day, Ezine decided to confront her husband of his recent behavior. That was when she got the shock of her life. You dare ask me question, you lazy and worthless being. You think I don't know? You think I don't know you married me for my money? Newsflash, I married you for your beauty. Nothing else. Besides, what are you even contributing to this home? Nothing. You sit at home all day waiting for me to go to work and bring money for you to spend, right? Then accept the baggage that comes with it, Okoro said to her, staring at Ezine fiercely. Ezine could not say a word as she was shocked to her bone marrow. That night, Ezine could not sleep. She thought of her life and all that had happened to her recently. She cried till dawn. With all that was happening, Ezine never told anyone. She looked happy on the outside. She always managed to fake a smile whenever she saw anyone who knew her. But deep down in her heart, she was dying. She was living a miserable life that needed redemption urgently. One day, Chiamaka, her mother, came visiting Ezine unannounced and she didn't like how her daughter Ezine was looking. Ezine, my child, are you okay? Is everything all right with you? Are you having issues in your marriage? Her mother asked her curiously, wondering what the problem was. Mother, I am fine. Everything is fine with me. Don't worry about me. All is fine. Ezine said as she made food for her mother, and they had a very long conversation that day, laughing and chatting away. That was the first time in a long while Ezine was happy, like genuinely happy. Later that day, her mother left back to the village and Ezine was left alone all by herself. Chiamaka, Ezine's mother, was very sure that everything wasn't fine with her daughter. But since her daughter Ezine refused to say anything, she decided to let it go, but only made silent prayers for her to be fine. That evening, as usual, Okoro came home with one of her numerous women and asked Ezine to go to the guest room. This time around, Ezine said to herself that she wasn't going to do that and that she was going to make sure the nonsense stopped. But as Ezine insisted on not leaving the room, her husband Okoro started hitting her. This time, he hit her so hard that she collapsed. Ezine woke up in the hospital. Her vision blurry. She could not even see well. She had been in a coma for 2 straight days. The doctor had informed her that someone rushed her to the hospital, and Ezine was also informed that she had had a miscarriage. After staying few weeks in the hospital, Ezine returned back to her husband Okoro. Her husband has always known that Ezine would always return back to him, irrespective of his action towards her. But Ezine had a plan. After 1 month, one day, as Okoro slept, Ezine stylishly tied his hands and his leg, and then she poured water on him to wake him up. She held a cane in her hands. For all the hurt you caused me, for all the pain, for all the beating, this is for you, Ezine said as he flogged him mercilessly. Okoro could not do anything as his hands and legs were tied. He could not move his body, but the pain was so much as Ezine flogged him. I had a miscarriage. I lost my baby just because of you. You are evil and wicked. Ezine continued to flog him. When she was satisfied, she packed all her belongings, the ones she had already gathered prior to her action. She had known that she was going to leave the house that day. That was her last day in Okoro's house. As she walked to the park, On her way back to her village, she reminisced on all that had happened to her. She had learnt the hard way, but she was grateful that she was leaving the marriage with her life intact. She needed to start all over again. As she got back to her village that day, Chiamaka was so sad on hearing what had happened to her daughter, but she knew that she had warned her from the onset. But Chiamaka was grateful to God that Ezine returned back home alive. Now you have learnt your lesson, but just know that you were lucky to return back home alive. Not many women return back home from an abusive marriage. Chiamaka hugged her daughter tightly as she consoled and comforted her, hoping and praying for better days ahead. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope that you've learned some lessons while you listen to this story. Please, you can share what you've learned in the comment section. Please subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Like this video, please, and please ensure to share out this video to your loved ones. Until I come your way again with another African story, for now, from me, it is bye.